What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Talk. UFC President Dana White has expressed strong disapproval toward Tom Aspinall's recent comments regarding his reluctance to fight his friend and fellow heavyweight contender, Curtis Blaydes, or Antea, as referenced. The British interim heavyweight champion had stated in an interview that he would rather vacate his title than face his friend inside the octagon, a stance that immediately drew the ire of the UFC boss. White, known for his straightforward and often no-nonsense approach to competition, didn't hold back in addressing the situation. He emphasized that personal relationships should never interfere with professional obligations in the sport, especially when championships and legacies are on the line. According to White, the idea of refusing to fight someone simply because of friendship goes against the very spirit of mixed martial arts. Many friends, relatives, you name it, have fought each other before, he pointed out. This sport has always been about competition, not about emotions. It doesn't matter whether you like the person across from you or not. You step into the cage to find out who's the best fighter in the world. That's what being a professional is all about. White elaborated that combat sports are built on the foundation of respect and competition. Fighters train their entire lives to reach the top of their divisions, and friendships, while meaningful, should not become barriers to achieving greatness. When you're in the UFC, you're competing at the highest level, White said. Every fight is an opportunity to prove yourself. To even think about vacating a title because you don't want to compete against someone is absolutely insane. The UFC president went on to underline that countless fighters in the past have shared friendships or training histories but still faced off when it came time to compete. From gym partners to longtime teammates, White explained that the octagon is where professional rivalries are settled, not personal grudges. At the end of the day, this is a sport, he said. It's not about hatred or animosity. It's about testing yourself against the best, no matter who that is. That's the mentality of a true champion. Despite his criticism, White acknowledged that the final decision ultimately rests with Aspinall. He's a grown man, White conceded. If that's what he wants to do, then that's up to him. But in my opinion, walking away from an opportunity to defend your belt because you don't want to fight a friend sends the wrong message. This sport is about competition and professionalism, not personal comfort. Aspinall's comments have sparked widespread discussion among fans and analysts alike. Some have defended his loyalty and sense of integrity, suggesting that friendships in the fight world can run deep and are worth preserving. Others, however, side with Dana White's perspective, arguing that such a mindset could set a problematic precedent, one where emotional connections might begin to outweigh competitive spirit. As the debate continues, one thing remains clear: Dana White expects champions to embody the true essence of competition. For him, friendship should never come before the pursuit of greatness, and if Tom Aspinall intends to remain a dominant force in the UFC, he will eventually need to decide whether loyalty or legacy matters more. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out, and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Conor McGregor, one of the most iconic figures in combat sports, has revealed a new side of himself ahead of his long-awaited UFC return. Currently in Rome, Italy, for BKFC 83, the former two-division UFC champion spoke openly about his renewed faith and personal transformation, describing what he calls a spiritual journey that has reignited his passion for competition and life itself. During Thursday's press conference, McGregor appeared noticeably different from the fiery and unpredictable showman fans have come to know over the years. Instead of the loud, boastful persona that once dominated press rooms, he presented a calm, composed, and reflective version of himself, a man seemingly at peace and filled with purpose. Those in attendance sensed that something deeper had shifted within the notorious McGregor began by sharing that he believes his recent transformation has been guided by a higher power. "I'm not here just by chance," he said with conviction. "There is a higher power, God, that dictates my journey and all of our journeys. I live my life by God's word." For McGregor, faith has become a central part of his life, influencing his mindset, decisions, and approach to both personal and professional challenges. He went on to explain that around the time of his last public appearance, he began to deeply reflect on his life and direction. This period of reflection led him down a path of spiritual awakening and healing. "Since that time, I've engaged on a spiritual journey," McGregor continued. "I'm saved. I am healed." His tone carried carried sincerity and gratitude, suggesting that he has found clarity and balance after years of turbulence in and outside the cage. McGregor's message was clear: the world is about to witness a new version of him, one driven by faith, discipline, and inner strength. The world is in for a treat, he promised. My competitive spark that was once in my heart is now a roaring blaze. I'm very excited. This renewed motivation, according to McGregor, is unlike anything he has felt in years. After enduring injuries, setbacks, and a string of controversies that had once cast doubt on his future, he now seems to view his career through a spiritual and philosophical lens. I envy these men up here, he said, looking at the fighters set to compete at BKFC 83. They're about to make weight, to go in there and entertain, and to do what they were called to do, as am I called to do it. The statement carried a profound sense of humility and self-awareness, showing a man who recognizes both the privilege and responsibility of being a fighter. McGregor acknowledged that fighting is more than a profession. For him, it's a calling, something he was meant to do. This newfound mindset has captured the attention of fans worldwide. Many see it as a sign that McGregor, despite his fame and fortune, is returning to the roots that made him a global superstar: his hunger, passion, and belief in destiny. With his spiritual rebirth, McGregor seems ready to embark on a new chapter, one where his faith and competitive fire coexist, propelling him back toward greatness. As the press conference concluded, one thing became evident: Conor McGregor is not just preparing for another fight, he's preparing for redemption, both in the octagon and in life. Move on to another news. During the UFC 321 morning weigh-in show, fans were treated to an unexpected dose of laughter when former UFC champions Michael Bisping and Daniel Cormier teamed up for a lighthearted on-air challenge. Known for their sharp wit and undeniable chemistry, the pair decided to take part in the Not My Arms Challenge, a comedic segment that quickly became one of the most memorable moments of the broadcast. In this hilarious challenge, Bisping stood behind Cormier, acting as his arms, while Cormier sat in front pretending to be served breakfast and lunch. The concept was simple: Bisping could not see what he was doing, and Cormier had no control over the arms in front of him. What followed was pure entertainment gold. As the challenge began, the crew set the scene for breakfast. Bisping, trying his best to navigate blindly, reached over with exaggerated motions to feed Cormier a spoonful of cereal. "Let's cover them up. How about some cereal to start? It's breakfast time," Bisping joked while fumbling with the spoon. Cormier, ever the good sport, played along enthusiastically, opening his mouth wide and laughing between bites. "Oh, you like that?" Bisping teased as he clumsily shoved another spoonful toward Cormier's face. Cormier could barely contain his laughter, jokingly exclaiming, "Eat it, baby," as bits of cereal nearly spilled everywhere. Once breakfast was served, the duo quickly moved on to lunch. "All right, that was breakfast. Now how about some wings?" Bisping announced dramatically. The audience roared with laughter as Cormier pretended to be starving, urging, "Come on, Michael. Some wings, Michael. They're right in front of you." Bisping, fumbling to find the imaginary plate, waved his arms around uncontrollably, smacking Cormier's face and chest in the process. "Why are your hands so tight? Stop it. Let go of my arms," Cormier cried out between fits of laughter as Bisping continued to feed him. The two men's comedic timing was impeccable, their chemistry undeniable. Eventually, Bisping managed to get the wings to Cormier's mouth. "Eat the chicken, baby," he shouted triumphantly as the imaginary meal continued. Cormier leaned into the bit, licking his fingers and declaring, "Finger lickin' good." The audience and production crew couldn't hold back their laughter as the two former champions showcased a side of themselves that fans rarely see: goofy, carefree, and full of camaraderie. But the fun didn't stop there. "You can't have wings without something to wash it down," Bisping announced. Reaching for what was supposed to be a beer, he held it toward Cormier's mouth, but Cormier quickly corrected him. "Water, water." Still, the exaggerated motions continued, with beer spilling everywhere as Cormier pretended to gulp it down dramatically. "More, more," he shouted, sending the set into hysterics once again. By the end of the segment, both men were laughing uncontrollably, barely able to finish their lines. Cormier jokingly called himself a warrior for surviving Bisping's chaotic meal service, while Bisping wiped imaginary food off his hands, declaring victory in the challenge. The moment perfectly captured why fans love both men: their authenticity, humor, and willingness to have fun even in professional settings. Bisping and Cormier, both respected champions turned commentators, showed that beyond the intensity of fight night, there's room for laughter and friendship in the fight game. Their Not My Arms challenge instantly became a fan favorite, reminding everyone that even legends of the sport can enjoy being a little ridiculous once in a while. style. Move on to another news. Bellator bantamweight champion Patchy Mix recently found himself at the center of controversy after reports surfaced suggesting that he had failed a drug test stemming from his May 2024 fight against Magomed Magomedov in France, a bout Mix originally won via split decision. The story quickly gained traction across MMA media outlets and social platforms, with Tapology initially reporting that the French MMA Federation had allegedly overturned the result from a win to a loss due to the failed test. According to early reports, the French governing body, which holds legal jurisdiction over MMA events in France, had determined that Mix's post-fight test results indicated a violation of their substance regulations. The news shocked fans and fighters alike, given Mix's stellar career and reputation for discipline. However, as details began to emerge, it became clear that the situation was far more complicated than it first appeared. Mix himself was quick to respond to the allegations, taking to social media to dismiss the reports and clarify what he believed had actually occurred. In a pointed comment he wrote, "Weed ain't no performance-enhancing drug, only in Paris, SMH." His remark highlighted frustration with France's stricter testing policies compared to other jurisdictions, particularly regarding THC, the psychoactive component in cannabis. Adding further clarity to the situation, Tatiana Suarez, Mix's fiancée and fellow UFC fighter, shared more insight into what had really happened. On Instagram, she explained that the issue was the result of a laboratory error, not substance misuse. According to Suarez, Mix had not used marijuana during the competition period and the test results had been misread. "The lab messed up and said he tested over the limit, but the decimal was in the wrong spot," she wrote. "He wasn't actually over the limits. He spent $20,000 in lawyer fees trying to fix it, and they still screwed him over. Honestly, it's super messed up. France is a nightmare to work with when it comes to MMA." Her statement painted a picture of bureaucratic confusion and a frustrating ordeal that cost Mix both time and money. Despite his efforts to clear his name, the rumor mill continued to spin until Damon Martin, a respected MMA journalist, stepped in with verified information. Martin reported that he had personally spoken with Mike Mazzulli, who oversaw the drug testing procedures for Bellator's card in France. According to Mazzulli, Mix's official test was negative, and there was no valid reason to overturn his victory. Martin clarified that while there had been a discrepancy in France's local handling of the test, the results recognized by the Mohegan Athletic Department, which supervised Bellator's international drug testing protocols, confirmed that Mix did not fail for any banned substances. As a result, Patchy Mix's win over Magomed Magomedov officially stands. The clarification effectively ends the controversy, clearing Mix's name and confirming that he retains his position at the top of the Bellator bantamweight division. This incident underscores the ongoing challenges fighters face when competing internationally, where drug testing standards and oversight vary dramatically from country to country. While France has made strides in legitimizing MMA under its National Athletic Commission, the confusion surrounding Mix's test highlights the need for more consistent global protocols. For Patchy Mix, the ordeal may have been stressful and costly, but it ultimately reinforced his integrity as an athlete. With his name cleared, Mix can now turn his attention back to what he does best, defending his title and continuing to solidify his legacy as one of Bellator's most dominant champions. Move on to another news. Former UFC bantamweight champion and respected analyst Dominick Cruz recently shared his bold prediction for the UFC 321 main event, where heavyweight interim champion Tom Aspinall is set to face Cyril Gane in what is expected to be one of the most highly anticipated fights of the year. Speaking on the Anik and Florian podcast, Cruz offered a candid breakdown of the matchup, and he didn't hold back. According to Cruz, the outcome of the fight is all but certain. In his view, Cyril Gane has virtually no chance against Tom Aspinall, predicting that the bout will be short and one-sided. "Do I expect a short fight between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane this week? Absolutely," Cruz said confidently. "When I watch the film and look at Tom Aspinall's last 5 fights, they've all ended in the first round. It's crazy, he's an animal." Cruz explained that Aspinall's rhythm, speed, and composure set him apart from nearly everyone else in the heavyweight division. "He's rhythmic," Cruz continued. "He moves with purpose, controls distance, and mixes his strikes seamlessly. The only other heavyweight who fights with that kind of rhythm is Cyril Gane, but the difference is that Gane can't wrestle." That statement sparked laughter among his co-hosts, but Cruz doubled down on his assessment. "I'm not trying to be mean," he clarified. "Gane is a phenomenal striker. He's athletic, moves incredibly well for a man his size, and he can switch stances beautifully. But when it comes to wrestling and grappling defense, fights, he's been exposed before, and against someone like Aspinall, that's a massive problem. Cruz went on to paint two contrasting pictures, one from a promoter's perspective and the other from an analyst's point of view. From the promoter's side, Cyril Gane is a dream, he admitted. He moves so well, hits hard, and is one of the most athletic heavyweights we've ever seen. He can strike from both stances, and his footwork makes him a serious threat for anyone standing in front of him. However, Cruz quickly flipped the narrative, slipping into his trademark analytical mode. Now, if you're asking me as an analyst, he has no chance, Cruz stated bluntly. He's going to get guillotined just like he did by John Jones. He'll get stuck against the cage, taken down, and punished on the ground. Tom Aspinall's grappling and pressure are on another level, and once he gets Gane to the mat, it's over. Cruz's comments reference Gane's last title fight in 2023, where he was quickly submitted by John Jones in the first round. That performance raised questions about Gane's grappling ability, and Cruz believes those same weaknesses could be exploited again, this time by Aspinall. He's too smooth, too fast, and too well-rounded, Cruz said of Aspinall. His timing, transitions, and fight IQ are elite. Gane just doesn't have the tools to survive that. It's going to be quick, and it's going to be decisive. Cruz's bold prediction has already sparked debate among fans and analysts. Some agree with his assessment, arguing that Aspinall's wrestling and finishing instincts make him nearly unbeatable at this point in his career. Others, however, believe Gane's striking and movement could give him a legitimate shot if he can keep the fight standing. Either way, one thing is certain, Dominick Cruz is confident Tom Aspinall will dominate. If his prediction proves accurate, the UFC 321 main event could further solidify Aspinall's place as one of the most complete heavyweights in modern MMA and mark another painful reminder for Cyril Gane that elite-level wrestling remains his Achilles heel.